I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Oops, the podcast. Giulio Gallo-Roddy, joined by the king of strength himself.
Jesus.
Ryan is very jacked. Lynch.
I appreciate all these intros the past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Out here lifting, ripping it.
Happy Thursday, everybody.
Happy Thursday.
Hope you're all doing well. How are you doing, G?
I'm good, man. Come see me the 1st of June in Boston. 2 shows. Lynch will be there.
It's going to be a blast.
Performing as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, come see me in Portland on the 19th. Pasadena on the 3rd of August. I got Tampa coming down the pipeline and some more stuff coming as well. So come to a show. Love to have you there. Lynch and I went to a happy hour for part of our pod network. It was a lot of fun. We were chit-chatting. It was great. I was in the zone, dude. There's sometimes socially where I have a lot of energy and other times where I don't. This was one of those nights where I was feeling very comfortable and capable navigating through conversations with strangers, and it felt good. It
was a nice flow for you. I watched as I didn't talk.
We had a good time.
And I went to grab chips and different appetizers as if it was the most intentional, and I acted as if every maneuver was very time sensitive. But yeah, Giulio was in the flow.
We were in the flow.
Yinging and yanging out of conversations with different people with different reasons to be there. It's quite a sight to see.
Thank you, Lynch. I'm glad. We had a couple of drinks. So this was funny. At one point during the conversation, we were talking about different sorts of milk, and Lynch goes, I used to nut my own almond milk.
Oh, yeah.
I used to nut my own milk.
I did forget about that.
That was great.
Yeah, we had a nice heated conversation about...
You said it very dry.
Nut milk. Yeah, I was a little quiet until conversation about somebody that died got brought up, and that really opened me up.
Lynch was like, there's a murder in Williamsburg the other day. He goes, also, I used to nut my own milk.
Yeah, then it was really flowing. Yeah, that was a nice time.
It was fun. And then we had intended to hit... So my leg's been bothering me a lot, which is really annoying. It just is what it is. Hopefully it'll be fine. And that was after playing some tennis, which I will talk about in a second. But I had intended to go hit the cold plunge, which is sort of, if it's cold enough, double as an ice bath, sit in there, ice the joints. And I suggested that Lynch join me for a little spa outing. This is our second such outing together. And I was intending not really to drink much because... I don't know. It just seemed sort of at odds with each other to do like a holistic, relaxing schwitz after drinking. But those two activities can go hand in hand, apparently. We went in there. We hit the sauna. We hit the cold plunge. Lynch had never done the cold plunge before.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you?
I liked it. I made a decision after we finished recording last week, which was the day that we did all this. Mm-hmm. And my decision was to go in, dip my head under, and walk out. And I was nervous about that. I knew you were going to be sitting. I knew you weren't going to fully submerge underneath.
Well, the point is to do what you did. So you did it right.
Yeah, so I made that decision. I did it. I dipped in, held my nose, got under the water, and I got out.
Nice.
Went straight to the hot tub. It was nice. It was refreshing. Yeah. Felt nice.
Nice. And yeah, the cold, the contrast between the hot and the cold is supposed to be good for you. Regardless, after I was done doing my time in there, I also hopped in the hot tub. We chilled. It was great. Slept like a baby that night. As I imagine you may have as well.
Yeah, I did. It was great.
It's great, bro. So hopefully more of those days on the horizon for us.
Yeah. Dude, I have a dilemma.
What happened, bro?
Okay, so buckle up. A couple of months ago, when I went to Costa Rica with Victoria, my mom wanted to come into the city, and I offered for her to spend the night in my apartment.
Awesome.
And so how am I going to get her the keys? She was in Florida. It was the week of. I was like, I'll send you the keys in the mail. So I'll go get an envelope. I'll put the keys in there, and I will do it U.S. Postal Service style.
And why did you need to do that?
Because I was going to be in Costa Rica the day that she was going to come.
Got it.
So I went to the post office. I gave them a stamped envelope with the key inside of it, and I sent it off. So I sent it off on a Tuesday. I left on Thursday. My mom was going to come on Friday. And so I'm on my trip. I don't realize until Sunday that I haven't heard from my mom. I texted her and I said, hey, how was New York? And she's like, we couldn't get into the apartment. We never got the keys.
Oh, damn.
So I was freaking out. I was upset. I was
You made a
embarrassed.
copy, right?
I had copies.
But you were not worried about that. You just feel bad that this plan didn't work out because you didn't hold up your end of the bargain.
Exactly. I promise. I offered. I made it a thing. And so I just felt bad because it seemed like I lied, and then I didn't send it. And then I acted all dumbfounded, like, oh, how could that happen? As I'm like holding the envelope because I forgot to mail it. That's not what happened. I mailed it. And so whatever. That was months ago. I went home recently and for Mother's Day, and my mother said that she got the letter, and I have it right here. And I can't show you guys the front because it has all the addresses on there, the return and my mom's address. I get the envelope. There's no key inside of it. There is a hole ripped from the side. The key was taken out of the envelope. I don't know where it is, and somebody has my return address.
Oh my God.
And so this is like a thing.
Jesus.
And I'm too embarrassed to tell Vic, and I'm too embarrassed to tell our super. So I think I'm just not going to do anything.
You can also just change the locks without telling the super, and you can tell Vic.
I don't want to do anything. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to even bring it up.
Do you have a deadbolt that has a separate key?
No.
Oh shit, dude.
So somebody could, someone might have just taken the key, melted it, turned it into something like a toy. Or somebody took a photo of my return address and has my key.
And maybe your fantasy about the person standing over your bed may come true, bro. Dude, I feel like you're probably fine not doing anything, but I would definitely change the lock. Cost you a couple $100.
I don't want to do anything out of the way, ever. I never want to go out of my way to do anything.
Yeah, but bro,
I have the knife under the bed.
you're Big G's knife.
Am I asking for it?
Nah, I wouldn't say you're asking for it, but like, are you thinking about this from time to time?
No, I mean, I also just got the envelope. So I just
Like
found out
yesterday.
about this. Yeah, and I haven't. I got excited. I was more excited about talking about it on the podcast than I was nervous about the prospect of somebody slitting my throat and stealing Victoria.
Well, what about your stuff though? Do you have any? You have valuable stuff in your apartment?
Plenty.
Yeah. I would change the lock, bro. Do what you're gonna do, but
yeah,
that's crazy, bro. I've never heard of anything like that.
yeah. There's no other reason why someone would take the key out, right, and throw the envelope back into the rotation.
Dude, it's bizarre.
It's weird. Maybe someone at the postal service,
Postal service?
whatever. Maybe one of them took it. They're going to have access to our building. I don't know.
Dude, it's weird.
Yeah.
That's
So that's what's
super
going on
weird.
in my neck of the woods.
I've never heard of that. We should Google it and see if there's any like Reddit thread about this.
Yeah, I'll look into it. This deserves a deep dive. I guess I am not giving this threat as much credit as it deserves.
Let's check real quick to make sure Victoria's okay.
She's not at home right
She's
now.
not home. Okay, that's good.
I don't want to tell her because she's gonna get mad at me.
I mean, bro,
I'd rather not get yelled at. I'd rather die than not get yelled at.
your apartment gets robbed and you play dumb.
I'd play so dumb. Unless this person is really clever and they know my weaknesses and they take a photo of the photo that they took of the envelope and say,
Yeah.
hey, I stole the key and you knew about it.
That's
Because I listen to
crazy.
Oops the podcast.
Yeah.
So
Damn, bro. That is spicy.
it is spicy. I brought in the evidence today.
Good luck
so.
with that, dude. Jesus.
Thank you.
You guys are looking for a great gift for any of your fathers or father figures out there. Look no further. Storyworth has got you covered. I have given this gift before. It's a wonderful thing. And it's a great way to connect with a loved one. Effectively, what will happen is once you have gifted them Storyworth will email question prompts over a year periodically, and they can answer the questions. And you will sort of receive the answers to these questions as they're being answered, basically. But at the end of the 12 months, a book will be compiled for you of all the answers as a sort of keepsake and a place to sort of access everything in one place. It's a great way to get questions answered and learn about loved ones that you might not have ever thought of. And it's also a great way to kind of stay in touch with people. You know what I mean? Whether you wish you called your dad more often or whether you wish you called your grandfather more often or your uncle or whoever, this is a great way to sort of stay in touch It will spark conversation. You'll learn things about your loved ones that you didn't know. And you'll be like, what? I need to hear more about that. So anyway, it's a great exercise. Like I've said, I've given this gift before. I really like it. And here are some of the sample questions they might send.
What is something you said or did that still bothers you?
We talk about this all the
That's
time.
a good question.
Living with shame.
Yeah, I remember when I was in middle school, the last day of school, I got off the bus and I was holding all my papers and I threw them into the sewer drain. I don't know why I did it. It just happened, and I got caught and I got told on. And your dad might have a similar story that you'd have no idea unless you asked. So these questions are great. It's going to spark conversation and get you closer with any of your loved ones.
Give all the fathers in your life a unique, heartfelt gift that you'll all cherish for years. Storyworth. Right now, save $10 on your first purchase when you go to storyworth.com/oops. That's storyworth.com/oops. Save $10 on your first purchase. I played some tennis.
Okay, that's good.
When I was in Chicago, I played with Abba, friend of the pod. And I played much better than I did the last time I played with him. We played during when I taped my special. Last time I was in Chicago. It was a good time. It was sort of my welcome back to the court. I had close to no coordination, no timing, no feel. This last time I played, I had significantly more of all of those things. I still lost, but it was a much more enjoyable experience. And I was sort of looking forward to the prospect of playing more tennis. But the day after that, bro, my leg was just really bothering me. I don't know what's wrong with it, but it still hurts. It's been a couple weeks now, and it's like hurting. Like the second I walk more than 500 feet, I'm feeling it.
Really?
It's like affecting my mobility, and it's sort of like a radiating pain. I don't really know what's happening. Like I can still walk around, but like doing any sort of lower body stuff seems out of the cards right now. It's like I did Pilates, which I love to do, and it hurt a lot the next day. So I think I'm just need to rest for a little bit and hope that it feels better. But that is a bummer. Not being physically capable in any capacity at any moment is a pain. Finally, when I've gotten my shoulder sort of in a very manageable place, having this other annoying thing flare up, I'm hoping it subsides quickly. I'm trying to take all the measures to kind of, because it doesn't seem like it's anything serious, but it is nagging, and that's an annoying thing.
So, do you think you might go see a PT?
Maybe. I'm going to maybe wait until my health insurance kicks back in at the beginning of June. I maybe will start with a preliminary doctor's visit because I have to pay out of pocket for PT, which is fine. Mm-hmm. But it would be nice to just like rule certain things out, see what they have to say, and then maybe go to PT from there, which will likely be what ends up happening anyway. But I don't want to jump the gun. Okay. Maybe see if it'll go away on its own. Hoping it does.
Keep an eye on it.
And sometimes in the past, dude, when I have a thing like this, like it's like feels like a hip thing. Sometimes like going for a little jog will loosen up the hip nicely, but I've done that a couple of times and it hasn't really done much. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it won't be a big deal.
I'm sorry.
You have any injuries ever?
No. Knock on wood, not really.
Nice.
When you say that, I'm trying so hard to sympathize, right?
No.
Sympathize is when you've been through it.
Empathize is being through it.
So I sympathize because I haven't experienced it.
Right.
I'm trying to empathize. I can't. The best I can do is sympathize with you.
Right.
I partially tore my groin playing baseball once.
Okay.
I also
what was the solution for that? Rest?
just rest.
Nice.
I also partially tore my groin just sleeping funny.
Same
on
groin?
the floor. Yeah, when I was younger, before the baseball injury.
Oh wow, interesting.
Yeah, but luckily not too many injuries.
That's good.
Let's
keep it that way.
Yeah, I try not to. I do get a little cocky when I'm playing golf, or I make these like erratic movements, and I've never gotten hurt. And you see the videos of, I think of Kevin Durant in 2020, the 2019 NBA Finals against Toronto, when his Achilles. I'm making that sound effect because I don't know the right word to use for what actually happened.
Torn.
I was thinking rupture, but I didn't know if that was if conducive isn't even the right word to use. So anyway, just he. I that was just at a funny, awkward angle, and then he was out for a year and a half. So I'll hop, I'll bend, I'll skip, I'll do silly things I'm not thinking about the potential consequences if I land at the perfect angle, and I got to be more conscious of that because I can't do an injury. I can't.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I try to avoid the things that can like lead to an unnecessary injury. Like you hear about a lot of people getting injured playing basketball in our age range, as well as like skiing. Those are kind of the two main ones. I don't do either of those things really, but I still want to be active. So anytime I have something that kind of makes it more complicated, it can be frustrating, but it's all part of the process. Whatever, will hopefully be all good. But yeah,
Vic calls me Cricket as kind of like a playful nickname. And it's typically because if I'm trying to amuse anybody or when we're hanging out, do a lot of stuff with my body. I like squat and
physical humor.
yeah, a lot of physical stuff. So I got to make sure I don't get hurt.
Yeah.
I think I'd be such a sourpuss if I tore my ACL or anything like
God.
that.
I even hear like Graham Kay, who's a comic who's done this show before. He got hip surgery and he was bedridden for like 2 months.
Yeah.
That is like my worst nightmare. He seems to have come out of it and he's in good spirits somehow. Or even when Des was telling us about his stuff when he got in his skiing accident, it just sounds super perilous. I hope to not go through that. But you never fucking know, man.
Like imagine having
Don't take your health for granted.
No, imagine having spots at the cellar and you're in like a full on, not a boot, you're in like a full on one of those binder looking leg
knee brace
cast
things.
brace thingies.
Dude.
And you have to just make your way to the cellar from
Sounds
here.
tough. Yeah, it's a very walking city too. Like you got to walk around here. So I don't know.
It'd make for a sick story though.
Hope for the best. Yeah. Well, dude, we have a couple fun little stories from the Oops listener pool that were told to me in person. It was a weekend where a couple people came out to shows. There was Trish, who's always been a very solid supporter of me and of the show. She came to see me when I popped in at Danny's show, which was fun to see her. She had a good one for me. So we'll start here. She came to my special taping in Chicago. Thank you for making the trip. And any other listeners, including Marissa, and there's a really solid contingent of people who traveled for that, and I appreciate it very much. I guess when she was on that trip, she went to the Indiana Dunes National Park, which is where I talked about on last week's episodes. Fun trip. Good to get to see a cool national park. And while she was there, she met this sort of hunky national park ranger. And, she had a boyfriend at the time, so, didn't think twice about it, but I guess they had some banter, some banta, and, she remembered it, but whatever. Eventually it ends up not working out with her boyfriend for whatever reason. Potentially his doing, it sounded like. I don't want to get into too much of the specifics. But she then sent a postcard to the park ranger with her phone number. He replied, and now they are hanging out with each other.
That's hot.
All right. So all, I guess, in some capacity propelled forward by my special. Love to hear when positive chance things happen around my events.
I like how you gave her grace in saying that it's the boyfriend's doing.
No, it
How
seems
the thing fell apart.
There's specifics to
Yeah.
it. Yeah. I wasn't giving her the benefit of the doubt. I think I know for sure based on what she had told me. I just don't want to air out her dirty laundry.
I know, but at the very least, if you share a story with Julio, you will always be the winner. You'll be the champ. He champions you. He painted you in a perfect light.
If I'm able to, I will. That's for sure. So that's number one.
That's very sweet.
Very, very good. And number two, shout out to Petruniela and her boyfriend Raf, who, I don't know if you guys remember this, but long ago I was in Croatia and at Petruniela's family store, Note Bene, it's called. If you're ever in the old city of Dubrovnik, go check it out. They hosted me and showed me such a nice time in their store where they have a bunch of delicious snacks and treats and cool knickknacks and stuff. And it was such a nice thing. So they said that they were coming to the city and I wanted to make sure I helped them kind of get situated and if they needed recommendations, whatever. So they ended up coming to one of my shows and bro, they went by Trump Tower to check it out, which the last time I was around there, I've noticed it's become a bit of a tourist destination. It's almost like dark tourism in a way. Like, let's see the root of this whole, what's up with this, controversial, popular in some respects, but controversial in others, former president, businessman, whatever, Donald Trump. And they go by Trump Tower and they fucking see Trump, dude.
That's insane.
And they have the video of it. Look at this. This is crazy. They sent me this video.
And this is their first time. They just want to see the building. They got to see.
Bro, I'm trying to think of like the equivalent of this. Like it would almost be like going to Russia and going, oh, let's see the Kremlin, and seeing Putin walk in. Look at this video. What are the odds?
And he's giving a face and a fist pump.
Thank you, everyone. That was not an attempt at Trump impression, by the way. That was just.
Can you do a Trump?
I don't think so. I can only do Matt Friend doing Trump. I can't actually do Trump myself. I can just get, well, Ted Jones world.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
But anyway, so I thought
that's sick.
What a wild, like, I don't even know if they really, like, when you get that lucky and like in terms of like an experience living up to what it's going to be, right? Like they probably weren't sure if that's a common thing. If Trump is regularly seen going in and out there. And while I'm sure maybe he is, I've never heard of, like, there's never been a time where one of my friends even texted me being like, yo, I just saw Trump. You know what I mean? Like, that's so crazy.
That is crazy.
It's crazy.
Trump's golf course, the one in New Jersey, my brother was volunteering at some PGA event. This was years ago when he was president. And my brother was just recording him. He was in a booth or something, and Trump turns and he just points to my brother. So that he had an interaction with him.
He pointed like, hey, or he pointed like, get that guy and
no,
stop
it was you know how he does like the little like
he does the little point.
I'm a celebrity point, like, hey, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Kind of point. Yeah.
So that's great, bro. Love that.
Can you do any other impressions?
No, bro. I mean, like maybe, but like no.
Okay.
Can you?
Not really.
Yeah. I mean, like I maybe could, but I don't know.
I can do Obama. I can do one thing Obama says, but I'm not going to do it.
Do it.
I'm not now. Maybe later. I'll do it randomly later in the podcast.
At some point.
Yeah.
I know what you mean by that. Though. Like sometimes
it.
you can sort of organically kind of do an impression, but then when you're like on the spot, it warps the impression somehow.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay. Sounds good, Lynch.
That's good. Did you do anything for Mother's Day?
No. So I was hoping to see my mom, but what ended up happening was my parents were coming into the city to see my mom's old friend in Brooklyn. And on the way here, their timing got fucked up because they had a slow leak in their tire. So they needed to stop and get their tire fixed. And then by the time they got here and this and that, and I had shows and I didn't get to link up with them, but we're going to do a joint Gallerati birthday, Mother's Day hang in the near future. So I look forward to seeing her then.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. What about you? Did you do any Mother's Day stuff?
I took the train into Jersey. I made my rounds. I saw everybody in my family.
Very nice.
We went out to lunch. We had a really fun, wholesome Lynch family moment. I'm with my my Uncle Sean, who we spoke about last week. I wished him another happy birthday. I think I said to him, I said, how was your birthday? I didn't wish him another happy birthday, but I let him know that I knew his birthday was then. Anyway.
Did he acknowledge that you sent him a happy birthday text?
No.
So, guys, if you didn't happen to hear this episode, Lynch texted his uncle happy birthday. He didn't get a reply, which led him to believe that there was a chance that his uncle didn't see it, since sometimes people in that age range aren't as good with their text or with their phone. So we still don't know. But what we ended up landing on as a conclusion is call those type of people
in the future.
So that it can be, so that you will get a receipt.
Yes, at least. So that hasn't been resolved, but water under the bridge. So we're at this restaurant. It's like this outdoor patio, but it's enclosed with a roof, and there's AC, and there's like an electric door. It's fully enclosed, but it's kind of outside. Okay. I say this because it's in the shape of a big tent, and so there's lots of tables, and then there's a big walkway, kind of like a track. So basically, imagine just like a running track, and then there's tables on the inside and on the outside. So just one big walkway. So we're sitting there just having a normal Lynch brunch, and there's this little 3-year-old boy that's, with his family. And he starts, he's walking with his grandfather. And his grandfather's walking behind him, and the kid's kind of flailing his arms a little bit, and he's kind of like being silly, and he's jogging. And he kind of jogs past us, and he looks at us, and I just start clapping. and so he smiles, and then he runs a little faster. And his grandfather starts to pick up the speed, but like he's old, and like it's like
the kid's leaving him in the dust.
It's ailing. And so the kid runs around the corner, and then he comes back again. And this time I get a couple of my cousins to clap with me. He comes back, he looks at us for he wants to get a reaction again. That's why he ran back a second time. My cousins. Kid starts running faster. Grandfather's getting really tired. He's not enjoying this. He's cutting across the track to catch the kid at the turn. Then he comes back. I get my whole family. Now there's like 10 of us, and we are hooting and hollering like, woohoo! Yeah! Yeah! And this kid just keeps running and running. And the grandpa, he was smiling. He was laughing. He stopped by. He's like, yeah, it's grandpa's day to run. And super wholesome, good time up until when we left the restaurant. I guess the kid got really, really hyper, and we walked out. The mother was right behind us, and she gave my mom the dirtiest look.
Really?
The dirtiest look.
Because you guys riled the kid up?
Sorry, we wanted to make your fun have a happy day. My bad. So, happy Mother's Day to you.
Oh man. Do you think was it possible that she was just grumpy because the kid was acting up and he was tired and she just was unable to give a happy look because she was so frustrated with the kid? Or you think that it was directly at your mother? Would she have given you a dirty look?
No, because she was far away. She didn't know where it came from. It just came from our party.
Got it.
So, but my mom said that she gave her a dirty look. I did not see, but I got to take my mom's side, and especially on Mother's Day.
Did your mom suggest that it was because of you?
It was all of us. It became an all of us
Got
thing. It was a Lynch family thing, just a little Lynch family. Innocent fun.
Lynch family revving up the kids.
God forbid this kid wants to have a good time. My bad.
God forbid you get this kid to be active.
My bad. It was nice. Then I went back and I watched this horror movie with my mom called Late Night with the Devil.
How was that?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Solid.
I recommend it.
Shout out to Astapro for sponsoring this episode and for sending us free samples.
I'm still dealing with allergies, dude. And
Yeah.
we are like almost in the summer. And it's like, I just need a little bit of help. I need an allergy assistant. That's
Dude,
what I need right now.
You got to try Astapro. It's faster, bro.
Ooh, I like that.
What wonderful allergy relief. I love taking it. Couple sprays into the old nostrils, and I have found that it really works for me and makes me feel better. So Astapro is a first-of-its-kind nasal allergy spray. It is the fastest 24-hour over-the-counter allergy spray. It starts working in 30 minutes while other allergy sprays take hours. Astapro is the first and only 24-hour steroid-free allergy spray. Astapro also delivers full prescription-strength indoor and outdoor allergy relief from nasal congestion, runny and itchy nose, and sneezing. So, get fast-acting nasal allergy symptom relief with Astapro. Go to astaproallergy.com for a discount so that you can Astapro and go today. ASTEPRO allergy.com. Astapro, it's faster, bro. Use as directed for relief of nasal congestion, runny nose, sneezing, and itchy nose due to allergies. When's the last time you took a shot?
A shot?
Yes. Of liquor, if it was unclear what I meant.
Last time I took a shot, probably a month ago. Last time I was out, probably a tequila shot.
How regularly are you taking shots? And when you are, how many are you typically taking?
I shouldn't be taking more than a shot. Well, I haven't been trying to get in a bender or any, out of shape at all lately. And taking a shot usually means that you're ready for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really in the mood for that right now at this point in my life. Not saying that I'm over it. That's I'm only 28, but just like right now, I don't need to be going out spending tons of money on shots. It's just not.
Well, but is it
what
the
I'm up
money
to.
or is it the physical accompaniment of them? Like what happens when you take the shot?
It's the latter. It's the feeling bad. It's feeling bad about yourself the next day.
Yeah. Well, just because you feel hungover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I will say taking a tequila shot, it does help loosen me up. Sometimes in certain situations I can be, I'll shut down. And so taking a shot will open me up to the world. What about you?
I mean, so I know people that swear by, they're like, look, you shouldn't be taking shots. It sounds like they're prescribing this to themselves. It's like, as long as you're not taking shots, you're probably not going to go overboard. And I think they say that with the following in mind. The idea that by taking shots, you're propelling yourself to another dimension of drunkenness, which then is negatively affecting you for longer. And maybe it's affecting your physical health, your sleep. It'll maybe prolong your hangover instead of just being like a normal brief hangover. Maybe it's a couple day hangover and it bleeds into the week, your work week or whatever. Or maybe it will trigger some bad habits. You'll eat too much either that night or the next day, etc. And I don't necessarily disagree with it. However, if I'm drinking, I'm capable of getting to that next level without the shots also.
Agreed.
Now the shots can get me
point.
there, but they might not necessarily, but still typically am not the one who's going to suggest the shots. But when they happen, there's a chance. There's a shot, I'll take a shot. But I also might not. It just kind of depends. It's a bummer to get that scorn when you turn it down. Everyone's like, oh, they are either just kind of being fun loving and they're egging me on the same way the Lynch family might egg on a young child outrunning his grandfather. But also there is some element of, oh, this guy has more self-control than I do. And they start to kind of project. Punch down. And they want you to join in their misery and in their bad decision making. Yeah. But in general, I'm down, but I'd rather just have another drink.
Me too.
A nice drink that I like.
Me too. There'll be a time where we're doing a group of shots or someone offers or buys shots for everybody and I don't want to partake and I'll say I don't want this and then they push me on it. I will wait for everybody to go take their shot, and when everybody's at that angle where they can't see you, I'll dump it on the floor.
Oh, I know people who do that.
I do it.
Yeah,
I do it.
It's a little bit of a bitch move.
I do it. I mean, I said no. It's in my hand now. I'm just gonna dump it. You wasted. You didn't ask me if I wanted it before. I would have said no. You wasted your money.
You don't owe them. You don't owe them anything necessarily, depending on who it is.
Yeah. What were you gonna say? I cut you off.
No, it's okay. I find that it's funny to see what different people's shot etiquette is when it comes to the process of actually taking it and what's supposed to be done. Meaning, like, there's certain people who swear by, you need to look everybody in the eye before you do it, and maybe you clink the glass. And then there's also the people who hit it on the table. So to make sure that I'm covering all of my bases, I've incorporated all of those into my process. Just as a hedge for myself. I don't hold it against anybody who doesn't do it. I don't really care about shot protocol, but I don't want to be left hanging. And I don't want them to be left hanging. I like that moment where I've done the eye contact and the people kind of appreciate it because not everybody's done it and they look at me as a more honorable person. And I hit it on the table. We take it. I find too that like if a bartender does a shot with you, they typically hit it on the table. So I like to incorporate these little tricks. If you have any other shot things that you guys do, let me know and I will include it into this long list of shot protocol
Everyone has to
like to adhere to.
Everyone has to wait 3 minutes before they can take their fucking shot. You got this 16-step program.
I recite a poem.
Say the alphabet backwards.
I do it all, dude. I do it all.
Yeah. There was a period of time where I was very anti-shot and anti-tequila. Tequila seems to be the go-to shot.
The go-to shot, yeah.
It's such a Russian roulette of how are you going to swallow it? What's going to happen when I go to swallow this? Is this good tequila? Is it bad? Am I going to want to throw this up like a bird? Sometimes it's really unpredictable how your throat is going to react to taking a shot of tequila. And the risk of 1 out of 5 times it being thrown back up, that's enough to make me not want to take the shot.
I feel you.
But you got to muscle through.
Yeah, I like tequila and I like good tequila, but now that the Mezcal Negroni has really become the clear go-to drink for me, it's actually helped me a lot with not drinking as much because if I'm at a place that can't make it right, I won't get it. If I'm at a place where I can get it, I can't drink more than 2. The third one, the taste is too rich. So then at that point, if it's turning into a night, like I know once I'm willing to sort of keep drinking that it's going to get me to that next level that a shot might, if I'm going to have 1 or 2 more, because I'll probably just end up getting Reposado tequila on the rocks or maybe Mezcal on the rocks, which are just like aggressive drinks.
Those are strong.
But yeah, that's sort of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, this is the year of orange wine.
Natural wine.
Natural wine, orange wine. Pick a label. Whichever one looks the coolest, get it. It probably tastes great.
Yeah,
I love orange wine. I like holding it. I like when people ask me what it is, and I'm saying this isn't white wine. It's not red wine. This isn't even rosé. This is natural wine, skin contact. What an interesting person you are.
And it has all the fibers in it. It has all it's like a little muddy.
Yeah, it's muddy.
Rough around the edges. And it's supposed to give a better sort of next day effect.
Yes, it's
Supposedly.
earthy. That's a great adjective to use to describe it. Like, I don't know what I'm
Earthy.
talking about when it comes to wine.
Full-bodied.
So I have a list of a couple of adjectives. Earthy, anything like that.
Earthy's a very good one, dude.
Mm-hmm. Bitter.
Yeah.
But own it. Say bitter like you
Yeah,
like
bitter
it.
is not a good term.
But if you say it like it's bitter, and you know what? I like my wine that way. Not everyone can handle it.
I don't know, dude. Bitter is not a positive descriptor. It's bitter. You have to say it more gently to me. Otherwise, to me, you sound like a novice. If you're like, it's just a little bitter in a way I feel like it's bitter.
It bites. Has a little bite
Has
to
a
it.
little bite.
Has a little bite
There we
to
go.
it.
Has a
Okay.
little bite to it. I guess bitter must be some sort of derivative of bite, right? It makes sense. It seems as if it makes sense.
Well, don't they call what is sprinkled into some cocktails bitters?
Yes, bitters is a literal thing, but you're not. It's not used. It's a noun instead of an adjective there.
Yeah.
But I like what we've just found for you.
Bitter, having a sharp, pungent taste or smell. I don't know if I'd be sold on a drink if someone described it as pungent.
Yeah, pungent is not the descriptor that you want or need.
Yeah, it has a little bite like that.
Dude, I had an awkward encounter in my old building. I don't think I ever ended up talking about this, but I talked to my neighbor for the first time the day I was moving out of the building, and it was pretty awkward.
What happened?
Like, what do you say?
Goodbye.
Right? I've never met you really. I've seen you maybe a few times. We've never talked, and I have this run of having awkward encounters with my neighbors as time has gone on. I sort of was moving one of my neighbor's laundry when we used to all share it when I was in my last apartment because he had left it in there for too long. And I was literally like, I figure we're both guys. Like,
No big
since
deal.
I moved his underwear. Awkward. So anyway, I see this guy and I'm like, hey, he's like, oh, you're leaving us already? And I'm like, yeah, it's been good to be next to you. I don't think I literally said that, but like, what? I don't know him, so I can't say it's been good to know you.
You shouldn't be insecure about this interaction. This is all on him. Because if you guys haven't met each other and he opens with that, he's the one that should be in his head about it.
To me, he had a good thing to say there.
And what did he say?
Oh,
We're
you're
gonna miss
leaving
you?
us. You're leaving us already. That is to me the appropriate thing to say for him. I just don't know what the right response is.
And what did you say?
I think I was like, yeah, because I was stuttering because I couldn't think of what to say because, we're going to miss you doesn't make sense because I don't know him. Oh yeah, it's been I think what I could have said is, it's been a good run.
That's a good one.
I don't think I said that though. I think I just kind of panicked and then he started talking because he saw that I was being weird. And then maybe he asked where we were going. I think I said, to Brooklyn. He was like, oh, nice. Yeah, well, good luck.
Good.
And I think I said, good, maybe see you again sometime. Who knows? It's pretty bad, dude.
You know his name? First time you saw him?
I've seen him a couple times. I don't know his name. I think he was German or something. He had some sort of Germanic sounding accent.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime I tell Hill Dog about these stories, she gets upset at me. She's like, why are you telling me this?
Neighbors in a building are interesting.
You're good with your neighbors. You have like friendships.
I have friendships with some of them, but there's some that you have amicable interactions where you acknowledge each other. But like there'll be a time where when we had the eclipse, I went out to our parking lot and I was watching with my friend.
You guys have a parking lot?
We have a parking lot in our apartment.
Whoa. Like beneath the building?
Outside.
Wow.
And we were standing in the parking lot and we're watching the eclipse. And then this random guy from the building who I've seen on the elevator, I give like a brief little head nod to, but I don't say hi. I'll offer to click a button for him. I don't know what floor he's on, but I'll say, what floor are you on? Like, that's neighborly.
Very.
This guy comes out and we're watching the eclipse. He doesn't have glasses. And I was like, hey, you want to try these on? And he's like, sure, thanks. And then, really basic small talk of like, wow, that's really cool. And then, I think we shared a couple laughs. We all hung out for like 7 minutes. And then I saw him like a week later and he acted like he didn't see me. And that's kind of what happens with some of these neighbors that you don't really form friendships with. You have a nice moment together and you bond over something, and then someone gets awkward and you just pretend like you never ever have seen each other before.
Yeah, it's weird. Like it feels like in the city, for whatever reason, in Manhattan or New York City in general, like it's weird. It's weirder in general to have relationships with your neighbors. Where my parents live, and sometimes where it's like a more of like a house type of environment, it seems as if neighbors are more aware of each other. And the idea of welcome to the neighborhood, bringing brownies, that would never happen here. And I wonder if it's because you have everything you need available to you. Whereas if you own a home and something goes wrong, maybe you need your neighbors more. So maybe there's more of a practical aspect to it. But I don't know why. Is it like this in other cities, guys? Do you know your neighbors? Other urban dwelling folk?
Know thy neighbor.
Do you know thy neighbor in Charlotte or Nashville or wherever you live? What's your relationship like with your neighbors? Are you guys friends? Are you not? I think there is this weird thing too. And I think that Game Night movie, they kind of tap into this. That's a pretty funny movie.
Jesse Plemons.
Where it's awkward. Like if you want to be friends, but the neighbors don't want to be friends with you, like that can be awkward.
Yeah.
I think you just gotta kind of do what you want to do. You shouldn't change how you are intending to do things because you're worried about other people's feelings. If you don't want to be friends with them, if you don't want to do stuff, you just don't have to. Try not to overthink it. You can gracefully do you.
It's just I just don't know how you could live in the building. You can live in a building with so many people, share an elevator with them, and just like not even say hey.
Yeah, you guys.
And I'm not
good.
saying that I'm asking for highs and hellos all the time, but I'm just thinking about the
Sounds
concept.
like you are.
It's just weird. It's just weird that we share this building. We live in the same house, and we don't say hi.
Yeah.
It's just a little weird.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, I'll walk into my apartment, and there'll be somebody trailing behind me, and we're both walking towards the elevator. And in order to get to the elevator, you have to pass the closet with the packages and the mailboxes. And honestly, 9 times out of 10, we'll be so close. We could totally share the elevator. They will find a way to pretend like they're going to check something so they won't share the elevator with you. There is some sort of anxiety with sharing an elevator with a neighbor, which we need to get over. And I will hold the door, and they were on pace to be
Normalize
right behind
holding
me.
the elevator for people.
They were right on pace to be right behind me. They would make it in, even if I didn't hold the door, they'd be in the elevator with me if they continued walking at the pace that they were when they were walking behind me when we got into the building, yet they're gone. I can hear them. I hear them turn.
So why you think they were trying to avoid being in the elevator with you for sure?
This happens every day.
Well, maybe you need to stop talking about nutting your own milk to people, Ryan.
Door to door. Hey, I nut my own milk. Would you like some
I
milk?
nut my own milk.
I'll nut it for you.
I'll nut for you.
I'll nut milk for you. I've created enemies in the building.
Really?
I have 2 enemies
The laundry,
in the building. I have 3 enemies.
Laundry enemies?
Are
they faceless enemies?
That one's faceless. The neighbor right below us has a barking dog. I left a passive-aggressive note on their
remember
door after knocking. Neighbor across the hall, he was throwing a bouncy ball against our door.
Yeah?
I told him to please stop.
And was it awkward?
I hate seeing him.
But because it's weird now?
It's so weird. I hate seeing him. And I get why he would hate seeing me too, but I had to stick up for myself.
So I think it's on him at this point because he's wrong.
I said it very politely. I said
And I'm sure he's like, dude, my bad. And if I were him, I'd go out of my way to be extra friendly to you to make you feel comfortable again. And then sometimes relationships are sort of arise from the ashes of a dispute.
Mm-hmm.
You've now broken down the barrier and you're comfortable. And like, if you're fighting with somebody, if you spend enough time around them after that, you end up typically being more comfortable around each other now that you've already broken that barrier down.
Yeah.
So we had a party here, and I've never really lived in that many places that have been nice enough to throw a party in, or that they were my place to throw a party in. I was either staying with somebody else, it was too far. There was always some reason why not. Now, we were able to, in our first apartment that Hill Dog and I lived in, it was a pretty good apartment. It was insulated nicely from neighbors. We couldn't really hear them. So we were fine, and nobody ever complained, so it was all good. Last apartment no one really came to. And now this one, people live above us and below us. We can hear the people above us walking around. So there are certain things where we can hear each other. I can't really hear what they're doing as long as they're not yelling. And I can't hear their TVs, whatever. But we had so many people in this apartment that there was no doubt in my mind that they could hear us because the people downstairs have since had a party and we could very clearly hear them. Mm-hmm. That made me very uncomfortable. I felt bad about how loud we must have been being. Now, it was early. This party probably started at 6:30, went till about 9:30, and then we were out, which is like perfectly acceptable. I kind of wanted to hedge my bets by telling our neighbors that we were having a party. Like, just, we're having a party. And then maybe even inviting them.
Yeah.
And Hill Dog was like, maybe you're being a little extra. Hill Dog's extremely friendly and neighborly, but like, she might be right. Like, do I need to do that? And then maybe if I do that, maybe that will open the door for dialogue, and now they'll feel more comfortable telling us not to do things.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up not doing either of those things, and it ended up being fine, but I felt a lot of anxiety during it.
I get that. I will just say Hillary is very friendly, but that is very not neighborly.
Not neighborly.
That's literally the opposite of neighborly.
Not neighborly, Hill Dog.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Just saying. Yeah, I feel like you could become buddies with them, and then they can do favors for you when you're out of town, and you can do favors for them, and then you get that sense of community. That's what we feel. That's what we developed with our friends in our building. Yesterday, I had to send a package out, and I didn't have any tape. I texted Jared. He came downstairs with 2 different types of tape. He's like, drop these off whenever. It's the best feeling in the world.
That's great. See, we don't have that. Our upstairs neighbors, so we share an entryway with them. The downstairs neighbors have their own area. Mm-hmm. So it kind of makes us more likely to become friends with our upstairs neighbors. Yeah. But supposedly, the upstairs neighbor is some big deal, according to our landlord.
I have his name.
Yeah? Can we look him up? Did we do that?
It's on a photo somewhere.
Yeah, try see if you can find it.
As you were.
You can keyword search in photos if you put if you have.
I forget. I took a photo of a package in front of his door.
If you put my address down, it might come up.
Okay.
So anyway, because of this, I actually feel less comfortable trying to forge a bond with them because they might think that we're fanboying. And trying to be cool. And like that whole interaction sounds awkward to me. So instead of being like, hey, when you guys are out of town, we can get packages for you. They seem more of like a keep to themselves group.
Yeah.
They're very nice, but still, I wonder what the deal is.
Yeah. You guys have to have like you need to have some conflict.
We need to have some conflict.
Which will foster the ability to heal a wound together.
Yes. Well, it's funny. The first day that we moved in, it was really loud up there. Like, there was bass. They must have been playing some music or doing something. And I was like, oh, fuck. And like Hillary was side-eyeing me, hoping that this wasn't going to be a problem. And they have not been loud since. So
that's nice.
So far, so good. But any luck? We got to look this guy up and see if we can find him.
I know. I'm searching for
We won't air him out.
Oh, here we go.
You found him? So I think that's his girlfriend.
Okay. That's no problem.
But let's look her up still. Maybe it is her. We were under the impression that it was the guy who was. Are you looking at it?
Yeah, girlfriend has 2,000. You know,
Can I see?
do you guys watch the show You? I know you can't respond right now, but you are while listening. Everything that Joe Goldberg does in that show, you can do. Not saying you should, but it is so easy to find anything on anybody.
So
I don't know if I should say that, but
so
it is.
Easy. It is easy, bro.
It's so easy.
But she doesn't post him at all in this, unfortunately. This is stalkerly of us.
Yeah. Can I tell you something Instagram related?
Sure.
I went to open up my Explore page the other day, and there was, and I clicked on something, and I started scrolling, and then at that point, it was just the most random stuff. A photo of this girl appeared, and she had a bandage covering one of her eyes. And so I was just curious. You see something like that stands out. And I'm literally not making, I'm not making fun of her. I was genuinely curious of like, oh, she must have an infection, or maybe she is blind. Let me see how long she's had this. So I went to her profile, it's public, and I'm scrolling back. And every photo, she's either wearing sunglasses or she has a Band-Aid covering one of her eyes. And I went all the way back to 2019.
One of her eyes or the same eye?
The same eye.
Okay.
I went all the way back. And she had a Band-Aid. So I'm going to assume that she's missing an eye or has a bad infection. And my thought was that if I didn't have an eye, I wouldn't use a Band-Aid to cover it. I would probably use like an eye patch or something.
I wonder. Did she seem like she had it together otherwise?
She seemed fun.
So maybe it was like her style thing. Maybe she has an eye that caught a piece of shrapnel in it somehow, and now she rocks the Band-Aid as her go-to thing. Did she have a big account?
No. That's the creepy. That's the weird thing about it. It's the most random account. It was a girl. She looked like she was in like her mid-20s. And yeah, she's missing an eye.
Well, whatever's going on with your eye, hope that it's all right.
Yeah, I do
it's
too.
tolerable. Well, Lynch, I think this may be
I do 2 eyes though. Sorry.
Lynch refusing to let the episode come to a close. 2 eyes, 1 eye, however many eyes you have, you're welcome here on Oops the Podcast. Send us your emails, let us know what's going on. If you have any fun plans for the summer, I'd love to hear about it. So I can live vicariously through you if I don't get to do anything fun myself. And come see us. We have a show in Boston, the 1st of June at Laugh Boston.
2 shows.
2 shows are going to be great. Looking forward to that. Then, of course, Portland, Oregon on the 19th of June, the 3rd of August in Pasadena, California, and the 20th and 21st in St. Pete at Coastal Creative. Might as well be my second home. That is all. Follow us at Oops the Podcast. Follow me at NotJulio at NotJulioG on TikTok and Snapchat. Follow Ryan at Ryan is Really Polite on all socials, right?
Yes, and email us once again, oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. Your dreams, any stories, your grievances, awkward interactions that you're having with anybody, but specifically with neighbors.
Yes.
Let us know what your neighborly day is like.
We would love to know.
We'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good. Ciao.